Hey guys, Joesnowmobiles here again with another Mercedes ML320 repair video. So if you're like many of us who have experienced that terrible click when you turn the key in your ignition, I have that problem right now. I'm kind of sporadic over the last few months and ordered a used starter off of eBay. Unfortunately, I had a shop replace my starter last year with a quote Mercedes. I didn't get underneath there and take a look at it, but it's now a year later and it is already defective. So, you know, it can happen. I'm not saying it was the shop's fault. However, that shop is no longer in business, so go figure. Anyways, just wanted to show you what's happening if I can recreate it here. Currently the car is running, and if you can hear it, I can rev it up. So it's running right now. I'm going to shut it off and I will see if I can recreate the click, and then we will get into what it's going to take to take the tire off, take the inner fender off, and get to the starter. So I'm going to shut this thing off before it gets too hot, because it is a hot day here in Illinois, and we'll see how it goes. So let's try the starter. Okay, so I'm going to shut it off, pull the key out, and let's see if we can get the same click. Ah, of course, it starts right up. Come on, car, I need you to do it. You just did it when I came out earlier. There we go. So that's the click you're gonna hear. I'm gonna ask my dad to jump in the car so I can go outside the car and you can hear the click. Alright, so the starter's right down in here. I probably won't be able to see anything, but I'm just gonna have him turn the key so you can hear the click. And that's what you'll hear when your starter's not working correctly. Now, I was able to keep turning it back and forth like my dad's doing, and eventually it would start. And I did have to hit it with a hammer once to make it start. So we're gonna get in there, and thanks, Dad. We're gonna take the tire off, and they're gonna have to take off this inner fender cover. There's another small shield in there, and then we'll get to the starter. So with that, I'm gonna get everything ready, and we'll get the tire off, and then show you what to do from there. All right, guys, so inside your fender, you'll find this plastic protector. Gonna have to take out, looks like there's one here, one up here, and one back here, and that should do it. So we'll go ahead and get those removed, and then you'll be able to get to the starter, which is right behind here. Now, more like right behind here, right there. Alright guys, so when you're doing this, there are these 3 10mm there we go, there's one of them right there. Here. So I'm really sorry about the sound here, guys, but you do need to remove these plastic nuts, and mine were very, well, the stud holding them on was very rusty, so they just came off pretty easily. And I forgot, well, there was one additional one, so there's actually, I believe, 4 plastic nuts holding that inner shield on. And then it took me a little while to wiggle it out, but eventually it came out. And I'm just pointing out the locations of those connectors. The ones on the outer edge where there wasn't anything there. Okay, so here you have the I believe it was a 13mm socket, and removing the wire from the starter there. Okay, so the nut that I'm actually removing right now is, I believe that was actually a 10mm, and then the nut on the other stud is a 13mm. Pretty easy to get to, just use a 1/4 inch driver with small sockets. And there's a 13 millimeter. Sure looks like it fits in there correctly. Alright, so it looks like, let's see if we can pull that cable off there. Oh, there is a little washer on here. Just be careful. Try not to lose it. Alright, got it. There we go. Okay, we got all the wires off. So I'm just gonna move that stuff out of the way. There's no other wires on it. Alright guys, so sorry about the bad sound again. This is the used starter I got off of eBay, and I typically, when I buy parts for my car, I try to buy them from a location with very minimal road salt. And this part came out of California. It was not off an ML320, but it was off another vehicle. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's the same starter. It's a pretty common starter. You can see the part number right there if you pause it. This had the solenoid and everything on it. I think I paid $30 for the starter, and it is a Mercedes starter, and it looks in really good shape. Much better shape than the one that's on there that's only a year old, and I believe this one has like 80,000 miles on it, so you get what you pay for. I believe the starter that's on the car, as you'll see later in my video, is actually a tough one from Advanced Auto Parts. So I'm just kind of pointing out the different features of this starter, some of the mounting holes, so you can kind of see where everything mounts up and where the fittings go for the wires, the studs, that sort of thing, and that's how it goes back in the car. So guys, for that star socket that you're going to need, it's an E14. Looks like that. It's a 3/8 inch driver, and it's going to slip right over top of that. And then you're going to need to use some extensions. We'll see what we can put on there and get this to work. And then of course there's the one up there also. Alright guys, so we're going to try a short extension, an adjustable swivel head, and the E14. Get it on there, and it looks like we can. And I'm just going to make sure you go left loosey, righty tighty. Alright, so there we have our bottom. I guess if you have the right length adapter, you might be able to get it on. There we go. Now, there it goes. Mine was just done like a year ago, so I'm sure these bolts are a little bit looser than they normally would be. Okay, there we go. There's the top one. I'm going to set over here. Okay, now that we've got the top and the bottom out, I believe we could probably pry the starter out of there. There's a little spot right here, you could get a flathead in there. Just do a little prying. Here it comes. Just gonna get in with my hand, take it out. There it is. Pretty simple. Let me show you the old starter here. Pretty rusty. Has a number to call if you have a problem. I tell you what. Something about, oh, this is a tough one from Advanced Auto Parts. It is pretty bad shape for only being a year old. Come on.